What up, this your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Faisal for Lights Out, proudly sponsored by Spartans Law. It's fight week, we're here in Manchester. Delighted to be joined by the voice of Sky Sports Boxing, Mr. Adam Smith. Adam, before I introduce you and bring you in on a couple of questions, I've got to say, over the years you've had the privilege of calling some big British domestic clashes. You look at the two fights with Carl Froch, George Groves, you know, White versus Joshua. My first question to you, Adam, is how big is this one? Where do you rank this one in terms of the British fights that you promoted over the years?
First of all, good to see you, Faisal. It's brilliant being back in Manchester, and there's a real buzz about this fight. Look, it's a personal fight for Kell Brook. It's become a personal fight for Amir Khan, and it's a personal fight for all of us at Sky. You know, we've watched them grow, really. I mean, Kell was a 10-year-old boy when I first met him, and we've known Amir since he was a teenager. So for us, this is the culmination of you know, what we've wanted for so long. Two exceptional fighters over the last couple of decades from British boxing, two former world champions, two guys that since their spar 17 and a half years ago have never liked each other, and it's got everything. What it's got, it's had time as well. It's been in the melting pot for so long, and people thought, would it happen? We never got Hatton Witter, we never got Lewis Bowe, we never got Calzaghe Froch. We're getting this, and we're getting this at a time where, yes, they're not world champions anymore, but it's a time where they're both very good fighters. They're 35 years of age, and you've seen in the last 10 weeks in training camps, this means almost more to them than any other fight in their careers. So yeah, I would say it's right up there in terms of grudge, needle, rivalry, excitement, the casual fans interested, big names. It's got to be right up there. Yes, we'd be lying if we're saying we didn't want to see the fight 5-6 years ago. But wouldn't we rather have it than not have it at all? And we've got it now, where I think both of them have got plenty of strengths, plenty of vulnerability too, and I think what we're going to get is a mesh on Saturday night and an absolute firecracker of a fight. I really do, and I think both are going to have to go through an enormous lot to win this fight, and the loser on Sunday morning is going to feel it for a very, very long time. So there's huge stakes here. I think in many ways it's not. Terence Crawford is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, right? This isn't that. This is about a British rivalry that has been stewing for so long, and it's going to come to a conclusion. And that's brilliant, and that's why there's so genuinely so many people interested in this fight, and why we at Sky are so happy to be involved.
As you just mentioned, we never got to see Froch Calzaghe, we never got to see, you know, Hatton Witter, but this fight is happening now. Yes, it could have happened maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but as people say, better late than never. Adam, what difficulties did you face trying to get this fight happening?
Look, we've had difficulties over the years trying to get this fight happening. Ask Frank, ask Eddie, ask Ben, ask every promoter that's tried to make it. I think the closest we came when we were at Bramall Lane and we were doing a press conference, and Eddie was really close. Certainly Kell was all agreed, and I thought Amir was agreed, because I was talking to Shah, and then suddenly I got a call from Shah saying, look, we've had a change of heart, we're going to go and fight Canelo. And I think that almost broke it. I thought, are we ever going to see this fight? So it's been really hard to make, but I think what it needed was both of them to, you know, want the fight together at the same time. I think Amir's probably wanted it at times, then he went off to America. Kell's wanted it pretty much all the way through. They've had to go different paths. Remember, Kell went out to the States to win his world title too, so they've lived slightly parallel lives, and I thought under Eddie Matchroom, when they were both signed to him, that is when it would happen. It didn't, but Ben came in, and they've, you know, the teams decided that they wanted to fight each other, and obviously there was a huge amount of issues, financial, weight, lots of different things to make it very, very hard to get it across the line. As all big fights, you talk Froch Groves, you talk the Hague Klitschko's, you talk all big fights to get over the line takes a great deal of work behind the scenes. This one, no exception. But, you know, seeing as it's taken almost 2 decades to actually make it, it was possibly easier than we thought. The two fighters wanted it at this time, I think they need each other, and I think they didn't want to go through their careers without finding out who is the very best.
We've seen the build up to the fight. We all watched the gloves are off on Sunday. Adam, what's your gut feeling telling you going into this fight? Who do you have as the favourite, given the fact that both fighters have been at the ring for so long? Amir Khan's made that move over to Beaumac, and Kell Brook's back with his long-time trainer Dominic Ingle.
I think it's a genuine 50-50 fight. I believe the bookies have got Kell a slight favourite. And look, Amir, in many ways, has always had the class, the skills, the speed. You know, are his legs as good as they once were? You know, what happens if he gets hit and hurt in this fight? But Kell, you know, he's got so much in his locker, the timing, the jab as well, underrated skills. But will that timing still be quite what it was? You know, he fell apart against Terence Crawford, having had a really good start to that fight. So, you know, Father Time catch up with a pair of them, which might make it a more, you know, sizzling spectacle on the night. As to who I think's going to win, I don't think they really know, Faisal. I don't think they really know. They say they do. I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to finish your career. I think when they put their head on the pillow at night, in these next 3 sleeps they're going to have, I don't think they know 100% what's going to happen in this fight. Both have game plans. Both have a way of winning this fight, early or long, but they don't know. And I think that's the beauty of it. We don't know. You ask 5 people, they'll say. 2 will say Kell, 2 will say Amir, and 1 will be, I really don't know. So it's one of those fights that I think, it's like Froch Groves 2. No one knew who was going to win Froch Groves 2. Before Froch Groves 1, everyone thought it was Carl Froch. After it, everyone was split. You go down the street, it's going to be Groves, it's going to be Froch, it's going to be Groves. That's what this is. Since that fight, there's not been a domestic rivalry like that, when it's so unpredictable, the result. So, I don't know, I'm just going to enjoy commentating on it, calling it, and being part of the story, and I'm really pleased that it's finally coming to fruition. I think they're going to look phenomenal on the scales. They put everything into this training camps. They can't lose, they cannot lose, or they're going to have a real difficult time coming to terms with it. And what we want, what you want, what all the fans want, is a great fight, and to find out once and for all, is it Khan or is it Brook?
Watching the build up to the fight, Amir Khan seems very confident. A lot of people that I've spoken to say that he's overlooking Kell Brook. A lot of people say that, well, Amir Khan's last fight was in 2019, Kell Brook's last fight was at the back of 2020. A lot of people say that Kell Brook going back under Dominic Ingle makes him the fighter that he was when he beat Sean Porter at America and become a world champion. What do you make of how confident Amir Khan is going into this fight?
I think it's a good sign. I was with both fighters last night. They're both really happy. They've done all the hard work. Happy fighters are dangerous fighters, Faisal, and I think that both of them are the best they can be. There are so many imponderables to this fight. I'm glad Kell's got back with Dominic. I think it's terrific that Amir's gone and had the hardest training camp of his life out in Colorado. Is it too much at this stage? Is the Beaumac switch the right thing? Do they know Kell Brook? Yes, Crawford's fought him, but Dominic knows Kell very well. But then again, is it too late for Kell? You know, Amir's lived a very, very healthy life. He was in very good shape before this. Kell, we know about his fluctuation. You know, is the short camp, 8, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, is that over the course of 12 rounds, is that long enough? You know, he looks fantastic. Will Amir have the 12 rounds? But then Amir's been out the ring for 3 years. Is he more of a part-time fighter? All of these things to add to the mix. You know, who's got the better punch resistance at this stage? Who's got the better legs? Who's got the better timing? I think we know that Kell hits harder and that Amir is quicker, but we don't know how the legs are going to be, how the timing's going to be, and how the emotion of the occasion's going to be, and who will be able to focus on their game plan better. I would have thought Amir will try and outbox Kell and win on points, and I think for Kell it's by knockout. But anything can happen. We know Amir likes to get drawn in. If they fight in the pocket, it could all go off. Maybe expect both to come down, both to fall, and both to get up. I can't wait.
You're going to get asked this hundreds of times throughout the next days from now till Saturday. Give us a prediction for this fight. What do you see happening?
I predict a really, really entertaining fight. I think that I'm hoping that this will be a bit of a throwback to a cracking duel. We've had some fantastic British fights in and around the last 25, 30 years on Sky. we've been very lucky and privileged to be part of those. I'm not going to predict a winner, I'm commentating on the fight. I genuinely don't know, and as I said to you before, I don't think they know. I think they can say what they want. I'd be surprised if it does go the distance. I think there probably will be a knockout at some point in the fight, but I really don't know which way it will go. I can see so many different scenarios, but what I think it will be is a fabulous fight, and a fight for the ages, and a fight where the electricity in Manchester Arena is going to be incredible, and it will be one of the many great nights that we have in this fantastic fighting city. So I think just tune in, enjoy it, and I think the beauty of this is the total unpredictability of the outcome.
Adam, before I let you go, Eubank Jr. versus Benn. How much of a possibility is that for this year? We saw Benn tweet after Eubank's win over Liam Williams that he fancies his chances at a catchweight against Eubank Jr. And when you talk about history, Barry Hearn says his biggest regret is he never made Eubank versus Benn free. We've got a chance to do it now, just with the next gen. Is that fight a possibility to make?
Eubank Ben is always a possibility to make. Yes, there's a weight difference. Yes, they're at different stages of their career. But both Chris and Conor know that fight is the huge fight as and when. I don't think it's this year. I think that's a fight maybe for 18 months, 2 years away. I think for me, I'd like to see Conor continue on his path. I'd like to see Chris fight for a world title in the summer. I'd really like to see him fight Gennady Golovkin. I think that would be great. But I absolutely have no doubt that Eubank Ben can and probably should be made at some point. It just has to happen.
Adam Smith, a pleasure as always. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the week, because I know I am, and I look forward to catching up with you at some point on Fight Night, Adam.
If we can't enjoy these weeks, we shouldn't be in the business. Cheers.
Well said. Adam, thank you for talking to Lights Out.
No problem.